Hello, welcome to today's Awareness Wednesday. I'm Taylor Bunn, Executive Director of Hope for All, and I am pleased to be at Steps with Horses today with Dr. Hallie Shade.
Hi Taylor, it's nice to see you again. Nice to have you out with the herd.
Let's meet the herd. Okay, so Hallie, who do we have here?
This is Echo. Echo is a Mustang. She was wild for about the first 6 years of her life before she was taken in, and she lived around different rescues, did different kinds of training, and then she came to us. She's going to check out the camera equipment.
She is really interested in this. And so what type of work does she do here?
She does the counseling work. That's her primary job. And so eventually she'll be trained to participate in the therapeutic riding program. But right now her main job is counseling. And she is really great with working with clients who may be anxious, more dysregulated.
Yeah.
Because she herself, you can see when she's anxious. And so when she first started with us, she was highly anxious. She hadn't been around that many people. She's particularly nervous around men. But as the clients started coming out, it actually was very therapeutic for Echo.
Yeah.
And that now, as you can see, she's much more confident, walking right up to the camera equipment, very curious.
And she's really a great example of how the horses, this can sort of be therapeutic for them as well, because she was a lot more guarded the first time I met her.
Absolutely.
So it's great to see her progress. Bye. Okay, well, we've got Donkey here.
Yes, this is Donkey.
He seems ready for an interview.
I think so. Donkey's always ready to try something new. He can sometimes be a little nervous, but he's also very curious. He was also checking out the camera equipment.
Yes.
But his story is similar to Echo's in some way, where he wasn't wild, but from what we know, he lived on about a 300-acre ranch just out on the land for the majority of his life. When I first met him, it was very clear he hadn't had much interaction with people. He wasn't comfortable around people. You could look like you might walk in his direction and he'd run away. But now he's actually emerged as one of our most sensitive, one of our most intuitive counseling partners. He's very clear. He notices when clients are being incongruent, which means kind of how they're feeling on the inside doesn't match how they're presenting themselves on the outside. Sometimes clients are aware of it, sometimes they're not, but either way, Donkey brings it to their attention. If a client is feeling very vulnerable or anxious, a lot of the time he'll come over and assume sort of a protective stance with them, which is what a donkey's natural instinct is to protect. So he definitely has clients that choose him, that, whether it's because they want someone a little different or just how intuitive he is. He's very vocal in his counseling sessions, and he seems to love to be a counseling donkey.
All right, and then we've got Snoop behind us.
So this over here is Snoop, and he was actually a world champion in Western Pleasure.
Wow.
He had a very successful career before he came here. And now he does do counseling. That's his main job, but he's also one of our primary therapeutic horseback riding horses.
Okay.
That's a program for our clients that have either met their counseling goals, they're not needing counseling anymore, or if they've been with us for some time and we think it would be a good add-in, that's one of our non-clinical, meaning non-therapy services.
Mm-hmm.
But our clients have the opportunity to learn horsemanship and riding in a therapeutic environment with instructors who understand. And Snoop is very good at both those jobs. He's very calm, very steady. For a lot of people, his presence can be very soothing. And he seems to really enjoy the job as well. I think sometimes Snoop actually prefers people to other horses.
Okay.
Which makes sense given his job. He had people that he formed connections with to be able to become a world champion.
Yeah. And he really bonded with Bob here.
He did. So when he first got here and he was trying to figure out who he wanted to be friends with, Bob was the first one he was really interested in. And so we'll still see the two of them hanging out sometimes, grazing together, napping together. He was, from what I can see, Bob's first friend.
Oh, that's nice.
Mama Mia is one of our 2 play therapy horses, and so she works with the really small children, about 4 to about 10 years old. And the kids go to our play area, so it's an outdoor play area that we have set up with toys. And she participates in the play with them, so the kids can play with her. They can bring toys to her. A lot of the time, she'll come and check out what it is they're doing. She really likes watching them play in the sandbox, which I think makes a lot of sense because a lot of time when somebody is playing with sand, they're getting that tactile input. It's very calming and soothing.
Yeah.
And the horses are drawn to that feeling, that calm, soothing feeling. So when the horse is there in the play therapy, for a lot of kids, first it motivates them to come. They get excited to come see their horse. They want to see their horse. But just the presence of the horse can be very grounding, very comforting for a child that might be unsure. I've had kids play out things with the toys that were pretty stressful or upsetting, and the horse would just come and stand right next to them. And so I think it made it safer for them to kind of explore those feelings, process those things, knowing that they had someone there who wasn't going to judge them, who understood, accepted them, all of that.
Okay, so we are now in the play therapy zone. Bob helps with this as well.
He also helps clean up all the hay that gets dropped on the ground.
He has many roles here at Steps. So Bob is the oldest horse here.
Yes. From what we can guess, he is in his 30s. We don't know his exact age, his early 30s, which is very long for a horse to live, but miniature horses in particular can live longer. Just kind of like smaller dogs often live longer.
And so does his age, does that help with the horse establish a pecking order, or is that more personality based?
Researchers still don't know exactly what it is. They've looked at a lot of different variables, but oftentimes the older horses tend to not be as interested in leadership roles.
Okay.
Because they're just kind of been there, done that. They don't really have the energy or just the motivation. So a lot of the time, Bob actually likes to just kind of spend time on his own. He doesn't get himself involved in herd drama.
Sure.
Or spending time with his friend Snoop. Belle is one of our counseling horses, and she absolutely loves the counseling. It seems like she was one that was just born to do this. She'll come over to our clients. She'll check in with clients that she thinks, at least from what I can guess, she seems to think are in need of some comfort, perhaps some nurturing. So a lot of the time, if we have clients that are deep into processing something upsetting, something traumatic, Belle will often come over and check on them.
Okay. And so what did she do before?
She actually came to us from a rescue, and before that, I guess she had done some various things. They tried to do some riding with her, and that didn't go so well. Belle seems like she may have some trauma of her own related to riding. Eventually, she'll participate in our therapeutic riding program, but we're still letting her get settled in. And when we do start doing riding with her, or her riding training, we're going to take it pretty slow.
So have you found that the horses, how similar is it to having your human clients?
There's actually a lot of similarities. You can really tell a lot about the horses and what's going on with them by how they relate to us, but also how they relate to each other. And when people come out here, instead of just talking about things that are happening outside of the pasture, we can actually process what's coming up inside the pasture and how that relates or compares to their day-to-day life. This is Starbuck. Starbuck is a draft horse cross, and early in his career he was a dressage show horse. Now he's working here as primarily a counseling horse. That is his main job. He does a little bit of therapeutic riding on the side, but he's mostly retired from therapeutic riding. He is our biggest horse, as you can see, and a lot of our clients that may have experienced trauma or are wanting to feel more empowered will often choose bigger horses like Starbuck.
Okay, he's very calm.
Yes, he is, which is another reason that a lot of clients may be interested in working with a horse like him. A lot of the time, the draft horse crosses in general tend to be very calm and relaxed.
And so they're a workhorse. A draft horse is one that's used to pulling the big carts.
Yep.
And okay.
Absolutely.
So this gives you a job to do. You're just cool as a cucumber, aren't you? Hi.
He seems very comfortable with you.
Okay, tell us about Sissy.
Sissy is a quarter horse, and she also came from a rescue like some of the other horses that we have here. You're probably curious about her brand. We don't know for sure, but our best guess is we think she was used for breeding at one point, and oftentimes horses that are used for breeding will get branded. Sissy tends to be very calm, very nurturing with our clients, and a lot of the time I've seen that horses that have had babies tend to be very nurturing with the clients that come out here. They've got that sort of that protective, nurturing instinct.
And who is this?
This is Max. He's another American quarter horse in our herd. Max used to have a career in reining competition before he joined us, and then an injury cut his competitive career short, but fortunately now he gets to work in our program as a counseling horse. He also works in our riding program.
And so how do you identify a horse that's going to be good in the therapeutic riding program?
Well, they have to have a certain amount of training, and then our equine manager evaluates all the horses. So she rides them, she tries different things with them to see how they respond, how they're going to respond. And so basically they've got to know what they're doing, know their job, but they've also got to be calm and patient and flexible working with people who are learning to ride.
And we have Maggie.
This is Maggie, another American quarter horse. She came to us from a rescue, especially picked out for us to do this program. She is very calm, very nurturing. She is next in line after Max, so she also keeps the herd in line, but she's a very diplomatic leader. She doesn't use any more force or energy than she needs to get her point across, so she's a very effective communicator. She's really great at modeling healthy ways of setting boundaries for our clients.
And how do you tell Maggie and Sissy and Max apart? Well, now I guess Sissy has the brand.
Sissy has the brand. Maggie's a little bit lighter colored, and she's got a sock on her back left leg.
Oh, all right then. All right, and finally we have Keyman.
Keyman is an Arabian. He joined our program after his longtime companion had passed away. His owners didn't want him to be lonely or live by himself, so he has now joined our herd. Starbuck is his new best friend. He did have some trouble adjusting in the beginning. He would get very anxious, and so a lot of our clients wanted to work with him because I think they wanted to help support him, help comfort him. And while learning how to calm themselves to comfort him, they were actually learning those skills that they were needing to use for themselves as well.
Yeah. So he had a horse friend who passed on. Horses are herd animals. Is it hard for them to be alone?
It is. Their sense of safety and security is being with the herd, being in the herd, being part of the herd. A horse that is too long without other horses can get very anxious. And so for Keyman, that companion horse, that was his sense of safety and social support. And so when he came here, he had to kind of, adjust to a whole new environment, all new horses. And now you can see he's very relaxed.
Yeah.
You can also see he has one eye. His owners have told us that he had an infection several years ago, and so he's actually adapted very well.
Hallie, thank you so much for introducing us to your healing herd today. How can people support Steps with Horses?
There's lots of different ways to support Steps. One way is each one of these guys have their own carrot club you can join, where you'll get little gifts and notifications, newsletters from whoever it is that you're supporting. So you can go on our website, www.stepswithhorses.org, to join their carrot club. You can also make a recurring donation, one-time donation to support our scholarship fund, or just general operating costs, whatever you feel more drawn to.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll join us in offering support to Steps with Horses.